So thank you guys for this. This is a very interesting panel, and you can see all of them are young because uh, I think most of the brand development real estate is seen has come from the younger crop. Till about 15 years back, there was not as much emphasis on brand. Right now, we're seeing people do very interesting things. So before we start on the fundamental questions, I just want to ask each one of you all a very simple question on which is the one real estate advertisement you all still remember today and liked. Why?
Nothing.
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 Okay. Why is that?
I've not seen anything I like.
Okay. Manan?
I somewhat agree to him that this, real estate has never been part of the main TV commercial media stream where, you remember something like a Dairy Milk kind of an ad, where during the Kapil Dev days you used to remember that lady going crazy and running on the field. There's something iconic, honestly, which will be stuck onto your mind, which is like past 15 years old. So yeah, like nothing great as.
Okay. Parth?
Hi, Vishal. So, if you put across ads in other businesses and other sectors, like FMCG and all, there is a story behind it and there is some visual interaction that can get a hook. In real estate, unfortunately, we don't have many videos as an ad. But however, on the print media side, I somehow resonate and appreciate Rustamji ads because they bring a lot of humane touch to the real estate side of it. Rather than only the size, price, money, there are more things on lifestyle, community, togetherness, how people can spend times and create memories and experience. So they bring a kind of a humane touch on the print side of it. Other than that, I don't see any ads having out-of-the-box feel where you can just have it remember like an Amul ad, or you see a Coca-Cola or a Thumbs Up ad and you remember things. Like that, I've not seen that level of creativity in real estate.
But Parth, all those ads, if you see, is exactly the same narrative of MR, just FYI.
Yes, but the way they put it across, I felt
Same.
at least.
True. Okay. Dhaval? I think all the three pretty much have nothing to remember. He gave the example of Rustamji, but besides that, there's not much to remember. Anything?
Well, honestly, we have to, we may agree to disagree to this, but ultimately we see some ad and that is why we get attracted and go and buy a home. So I wouldn't say that none of the ads are very attractive or not attractive, but very back in the early days, I think more than an ad, everyone knows there is a flat which they're going to buy or a home which they're going to buy. But most important, if I have to very, very vaguely say, is that, the Loda, when they started the Voltas, and then they did that, I believe, what is it, Voltas or Voltpark, I don't remember, but there was that lottery system of, like an IPO-based ad which was done for buying apartment, which was a very unique thing and something got attracted. So probably that is something which we remember. But other than that, I think most of our ads of any developers is about lifestyle, homes, and it's eventually, value for money and all call to action. And it's just not that I've given an ad and there will be no calls coming. That is not how any of these developers or any one of us would operate, because I would want to know what is my cost per lead or all of that. So eventually all that will come into factor when you are designing an ad to get maximum calls, maximum viewership, maximum leads, which will lead to making it ad as direct as possible. So that's the whole thing.
Okay. The next set of questions is actually the one that I'm really keen on exploring. In your view at this point, does the brand of the builder matter more than the building of the builder?
Well, they both are interconnected, Vishal. See, unless and until a developer in his heydays or early days not made a great building or a great community, he will not become a brand. He may do any great thing about making a nice ad, nice whatever. Unless the building or the project is not delivered to the satisfaction and which has created attraction or probably been given a great name and value for money to a customer, I don't think his brand will ever be made. So it's not either this or that. It's like a chicken and egg. Unless the builder, but I would firstly say, yes, unless the developer has actually made a great building or a complex, his brand will never get developed. And that is where it will be a building or a project first which will help him build that kind of brand. He may do whatever ads, but eventually it's the physical touch and feel which will matter, and it will be seen by public at large.
So basically, building matters first, and then the brand gets formed. Parth?
So while Dhaval was speaking, I feel my three panelists, Dhaval being a very close friend, all three of them are brands here itself. So I would like to put an example, what is a brand? When I look at Dhaval's organization, 50 years of legacy, countless buildings done, amazing generational legacy being created, and a level of trust and integrity, that's brand Ajmera. Now, when I look at brand Satguru, boutique buildings, AAA work, every corner has been personally curated.
Thank you.
I've been seeing ever since I grew up, because I stay in Khar Santa Cruz. If anyone wants in that micro market the best building, they don't have to look left, right? It's Satguru. So that's the prominence where people do 5 buildings, but he does 1 building, but does it in a manner where the bottom line as well as the reputation is of 5
That's
buildings.
not true. That's not
No,
true.
it's good. So I'm just trying to
not
put
true.
how 3 brands are.
We put effort as much as 5 buildings,
Yes.
but definitely we don't earn as much.
But that's a fact. The way the boutique brand is there, you are there. Now, suppose if I look at Manan, amazing example of a forward integration. Father created top-notch, top contracting brand. Manan came in, got real estate again there. So again, now it's one of the top brands of Bombay, doing work across affordable, luxury, as well as mass housing. So commendable. So if you see, all my 3 panelists have amazing brands in their own way. So coming to the context is, in real estate, you can't generalize any brand. Whether it's a geography, demographic, different cities. A Hiranandani cannot be a top builder of Gurgaon. A Shobha cannot be a top builder of Bombay. But he's a top builder of Bangalore. So every geography has its own top boy who has shown performance over the period of time, and then the brand has been created. So according to me, the only way of brand creation is consistent delivery over a period of time and remaining relevant across cycles.
Okay. Sharan, he actually paid you a very generous compliment.
No, I mean, thank you for the kind words to all of us, actually, He's been very generous. But according to me, if you ask me what a brand is, I think a brand is more philosophy of life and the way you conduct yourself professionally also, So it is not only about making a good building, it's also your reputation, how you conduct yourself with your buyers, with your investors, your ethics of doing business with your vendors, paying them on time, delivering on time. It is everything, it's just the way you conduct yourself. So a brand gets built, that's how it's built. It's just the way you do every part of your business and go about your day-to-day life. So it's an extension of your personality, essentially. Even our taste, right? For example, everybody has their own taste in terms of, staying at a hotel or even eating out or dining out or whatever. It's our choices we make which kind of make us. So it's basically an extension of that, in simpler words.
Manan, he described brand as a way of life. Do you think one of the patterns that I see in real estate is more like how, Bollywood is? Jab picture aa raha hai, then everybody goes, apna marketing promotion, picture gaya, they vanished. Do you think that's where most of the challenge of cultivating a brand also is there in real estate?
See, especially when you're curating a brand, what's most important is what are the principles that has been set forward for a brand, any brand. Whether you might be into affordable, you might be into ultra luxury, you might be into, like mid-housing. But what's most important for any developer today, if I speak about our industry specifically, is setting the right stepping stones. Like what kind of products are you wanting to give? What is the quality? What is the level of finish? Because these are going to be your basic pillars which will establish a legacy. So before you turn into a legacy, you will have to have your brand principles defined very well. Because without this, you might sometimes be going left, sometimes be going right, and people will always compare your products. So like the question what you were asking them, that building or a brand. Like building is always a byproduct of a brand. Unless and until the brand has not defined something, the building will never be curated, because eventually every building is a reflection of the brand's thought process, theories, and the philosophy which it follows. So I always feel like you're saying in Bollywood, when the trailer comes out and everybody goes gaga about it and then it vanishes. It's basically like a curve which every developer faces in every project cycle. So whenever we are launching something, you'll see the crowd going out, the influencers are there, ads coming up. But then when we've reached a certain portion of cycle, and like the question was before that, what I think Dhaval bhai said, that, ROI is important. Because unfortunately in our industry, we don't have that much liberty like FMCGs, where we can keep on going on and on TV commercials and newspaper front page ads, because at the end, what's the final number which lands up at the bottom line is what we are answerable to the company as well.
Okay. Parth gave the example of different category products, affordable to luxury. Do you think there can be one brand that gets featured in all the segments, or different product segments need different brands? Like we have Toyota, Lexus, same owner, but one is luxury, one is mass in a way.
So I'm seeing a little bit of shift happening, especially when you mention an automobile industry. Like for example, if you see Maruti Suzuki today, they launched a brand called as Nexa. Now they purposely launched the brand Nexa because they were facing, I remember those days when I was in my schooling or college, they launched a car called as Kizashi. I don't know how many of you all sitting over your nose.
And it was a very, very expensive car back then.
Expensive, beautiful
very
machine.
Very few buyers also.
And I think 25 lakhs in those days. So people said, why should I buy a Maruti for 25 lakhs? Slowly they realized that people are connecting Maruti brand to affordable and mid sector, and they don't feel the satisfaction of ego of achievement that I'm sitting in a 25 lakhs, but it's Maruti at the end. So for a developer, when you're curating a brand, for us, we cannot have any differentiation for a very simple reason. Yes, small differences like a tiling for an affordable housing and Italian marble for a luxury project can happen, but we cannot have any quality controls which is compromised in terms of steel, in terms of cement, in terms of windows, and so on. So it always becomes difficult sometimes for a developer to show the differentiation that if you're doing affordable, you can do luxury as well, because it's just the taste and, like I said, the brand philosophy which follows in later on, that yes, you will be able to achieve both, and both with the equal amount of quality and the timelines what you have to achieve.
Okay.
Sharan,
you are in that
I have
segment.
a different perspective on this. Sorry, Manan, but look at Tiffany, for example, right? You get a diamond ring, but you can still get a pendant. So, it also depends on the brand, if people are going from down to up or up to down. So, we look at ourselves more like if we go into another category, we would be kind of like Tiffany. You do a very expensive product and you can do a cheaper product with the same respect and same design intent and everything else, in a similar way. So, it can work the other way also. Unfortunately, in India, what has happened is most brands have gone from down to up. Nobody's gone top down.
Okay, fair enough. Parth, you are, I think, there now in many categories. I see your boards in many locations, from what people will call affordable to luxury. What's your game plan like, just when you look at this?
So on the brand front of it, I'm a firm believer that a particular resonation with a particular budget, size and price has a different aura, vibe and frequency aligned to that brand. The mother brand or the parent brand can be the same, but segregation between the typology is very important. Like you look at a corporate like, let's say Raymond, he has the GS collection, which is the top brand. Then he has the Raymond as a normal brand. Similarly, what I feel is someone who's putting top dollar on the table where super luxury is concerned. The ego, the sense of achievement, arrival is so high that even if the parent brand is same, they want to be known that they are part of a product in the process till they move into their house. See, the major thing is we are selling dreams. It'll get fulfilled when they move in. But to get it fulfilled, first he has to come and buy the apartment. Until he doesn't breathe and feel that this is of a particular cadre which is not massy, it is different, the specs are different, quality is different, the parameters are different, the construction technology is different. It's all round approach of branding, not just the narrative of it, the technical side of it also, and the aesthetic side of it. When all that blend comes in, and then you have, let's say, a sub-brand, like for example, a luxury collection, we are calling it Paradigm Marquee Collection. So whichever boutique buildings are upward of 25 crore rupees, we're keeping it in the Marquee Collection. So then there is a set of science behind why Marquee. What is it different? Light, height, in terms of product, everything. Similarly, a normal affordable apartments which are between 1 and 4 crores, 3 crores are under the parent Paradigm Realty brand. So it's worked for us where we felt that we can have a science behind it. We have a different sales team who works on both the brands separately. It's driven. So I think what works for whoever. Now, at the same token, you see a Godrej. They don't need to have a separate brand. Naam hi kafi hai. All our life, we've been seeing refrigerator Godrej. मतलब 25 साल यही fridge चलेगा घर पे. So there is a resonation. कि Godrej मतलब credibility. It's going to be there for a while. It's going to have no quality issues. Now, real estate, whether the product is matching that parameter that the brand has set or no is a separate conversation because every product is different in its own way. But as a parent brand, they don't need to do anything. Naam hi kafi hai. It's like that.
I think that Godrej example, I'll come to that in the next question. Dhaval, for you, different categories, हो सकता है you or one brand does all of it, like Sharan said Tiffany's example, but Manan said the thing of that Maruti car. 25 लाख की गाड़ी ले रहा हो तो मारुति क्यों?
So, my feeling is that if you are, it depends on what tenure of your business you're in. So let's say I'm just giving as an example. If someone has just started as their business or probably 10 years into business and or probably, have only done luxury, people will definitely agree with Manan and, Sharan saying that they will, someone will, resonate to an affordable or a luxury. But if over the period of time, like when Parthh is in this business in 20-25 years, or let's say us, we've been in 55 years, we've done all segments. So we've done affordable, we've done mid-luxury, we may have done luxury. We have not done like a uber luxury for now, but let's say we've done this in all 4-5 categories. Then it is easier for us, for people also to resonate, because we as a brand have been in existence since 55 years. You know them, you've delivered different places. So it's a very, different vibe. But if supposing one project has always been like, let's say Satgurus have always done very boutique and luxury homes, so people will definitely resonate them to them as a brand to give luxury homes. But yes, I agree that when some like him is doing an affordable project or a mid-luxury project, it's not that people will not know it, but it will be like, okay, their quality will be top notch. Because they will follow the principal brand guidelines in their project. For any developer today, there are certain principles which continue, whether it is a luxury project, whether it is an affordable, as Parth clearly says, if it's a uber luxury, then I will have a minimum height of 3.5 meters floor to floor or something like that, or I will definitely give an air conditioning, or I'll definitely give a marble. And if I'm doing a 50 lakh product, then I will only give a vitrified tiles. All that will, that's how you are defining things, and that's how it will go to. So it's clearly like, a Marriott and their other affordable brand, but it's continuing. So for a brand which is only, in short, I'll say that if someone has been in this business since long, I don't think for them it is difficult. But someone who's starting as, let's say, 5-10 years, then probably people will resonate them. But it will take a while. Another 10 years down the line, they will be known कि ये सब कर सकते हैं.
Okay, Parth gave that example of Godrej. It's a company that whenever I talk to a lot of brokers and buyers, I get a lot of contrasting opinion on them. Keeping with that brand, or Godrej type brand in a way, do you think people buy into a brand more than they buy into a home?
So
It depends on the location, I guess.
I'll come to you on this.
yeah, so it's more of, firstly, if I have to buy a home, any person who's buying a home, he will shortlist a location, budget. These are the two important things for anyone to look into it. Once that is, come to a conclusion that, okay, this is my budget and this is the location which I am looking at. And then he will probably look at the 4 or 5 or 7 or 10 projects. And out of that, if there are good brand developers which are there, their preference will definitely be them, because somewhere down the line, if all the other ticks are made in terms of location, in terms of sizing, in terms of, whatever, all that, then the last bit will definitely be like, okay, there is this brand Godrej or brand whoever will make a difference for him to take an influence over the other project.
So the trump card is that brand. When it's
eventually,
equal.
if there is 3 projects which are next to each other and everything is tick in the box, then the variance or the importance definitely will go for a brand.
Okay. Parth, you said naam hi kafi hai for Godrej.
No, so I feel agreeing on few things what Dhaval said, but what I have felt is, for example, being a first generation entrepreneur who's been over 10 years in the business, I started realizing in Bombay, the mindset has been budget and pricing and payment plan. We've got a herd mentality when markets are good. When markets slow down, that's when the think tank opens of everything. When the greed gets the best out of people, they just want a deal. Sasta kitna? 1. 2 is, yes, there has been a reputation check that is there. You may not be a brand which is very old, but even if you're a reasonable brand who've got even 2 buildings delivered on time and honored what you've said, people can get that much ref check done. So in that barometer, if there are 3 projects around and if the deal is right, then people settle in for maybe the not best aspirational brand because he just gets those 300 square feet more. Or he just saves that 30 lakh rupees. He just covers his interior cost or stamp duty cost. These are the things which are very, very relevant in ticket sizes of under 2 crores, 2.5 crores would be the first home buyers, nuclear families, taking a home loan. It's too important for them. And then they will settle in knowing that but he's a reasonable good guy or the company is reasonably good. 6 महीना delay होगा लेकिन हम समझ के चलते घर मिल जाएगा. They prepare themselves. Yes, where like what Sharan said, where people want to spend upwards of 15 crores. For them, it's location, location, location. And I am a believer in today's time, no one's making a bad product in a great location. All the products that any developer here is making is between 8 and 10. No one's at 7.5 because everyone knows we'll not be worthy for a next product. So that consciousness of quality and planning and basic understanding of how functionality works of a building is there. So in that luxury side, it's only location. Then price is not a barometer. It's the ability of your holding capacity and how fast you deliver. So then brand does not really matter. We've seen more than many success stories in the last 5-6 years. The developers who've done the highest sales were not even relevant before last 5 years. So that means what does it say? This real estate cycle gives every 5-year cycle to everybody. And in every 5 years, there is new Ranveer Singh, there is new Ranbir Kapoor, there is new Shah Rukh Khan. Everyone has their own time. That's the way I look at it.
Okay. Sabka time aayega basically.
I think the cycles have become a little smaller. It's like close to 3.5 years now. I mean, I beg to differ, everybody to their own. But also, I mean, I don't think it's only location. I would beg to differ. You see the kind of building everybody is building, everybody's putting in their 100%, no doubt. Everybody's putting their effort. But everybody's competence, ability and taste, that is for the client to judge. I don't think that's for us because we are all putting in 100% in every particular location. You can't say that somebody is not putting in that. And I think eventually the price of course is market plays a big hand in it. I mean, yeah, of course, even all of us do very well. And if it's not, I mean, we all also have to take a bit of a beating in that and correct and change our pricing strategy. But that's a force of the market. But I think eventually what is a brand? You're paying for somebody's curation of taste. Essentially, we are tastemakers of sort. We are making a building which we are putting 200 to 500, probably 1,000 crores. I mean, my peers put in way more money than what we put in their buildings. And, we are all putting in 100%, as I said. But what a person is eventually paying for is our taste making. Our choice of marble, our choice of fittings, our choice of lobby, of materials, of elevators, of every single thing. We are essentially curators for them. And that is what they are really paying for.
But does that hold true only at the luxury end? Because the guy that below 2 crore...
On every level. Look, when you go down, also you'll be surprised. I mean, there are some really good buildings coming up in Mira Road. So, I mean, they're using a lot of my architect friends are doing, lobbies and doing show flats and all in Mira Road. So everybody has the aspiration to do better work and they are putting in the effort.
Okay. Manan?
So we are talking about homes which are like in lakhs and crores. But I would say like India is a market which is not only just seeing home prices. India is price sensitive. Whether it's a rich guy or a poor guy, everybody is seeing pricing, what is the discount happening on Zomato and Swiggy also. तो घर तो बहुत महंगा हो गया. तो Zomato पे कितना % discount चल रहा है? Of course, everybody doesn't, but I've seen this usual trend. But the trend is changing, and I'll tell you the best example what has happened, and I've seen in India, and thanks to social media specifically, is a brand like Starbucks. College guys, in fact, school kids who are like just passing out school, just to be cool in the society, just to be more accepted well socially. Starbucks is created. You're paying 2x, 3x, 4x the price of a normal cold coffee, which you would get in a normal coffee shop. And to be in the trend, I can afford it. So some bit of it, India is changing from a typical price sensitive bracket, which is like 100 rupees coffee, you don't mind paying 250 rupees. But for homes also, in certain segment, like especially when you're going above certain ticket size like 20 crores, 25 crores and beyond, what is the most important factor that time is whether you'll get the delivery, number one. Number two, who are you buying with? The brand, of course. Number three is the finishes, of course. And number four, whether you are fitting into the right location. Because say Bandra, for example, or Worli, you have hundreds of projects which are getting offered in similar ticket size, 20 crores, 30 crores, 50 crores. Now, each one is also a brand. What eventually helps a customer is who does that customer relate to? How close is he to that brand? whether he's liking the brand in his mind, whether his family is fitting well into the lifestyle what the developer is offering. So I feel both things are going hand in hand and purely depends on the price segment and the category in which we are wanting to operate.
Tell me something. In most developers, when I talk to them, they say that buyers treat homes like a commodity. They don't treat it like a product. In that sort of a mind of a home buyer, how easy is it to even create a brand if he views you as a commodity? That if I don't buy from you, I buy from you or from me or whoever. How difficult is it to create a brand in such an environment? I'll come to you, Sharan, first, Manan.
See, home more than a commodity, especially after COVID, which every developer also experienced phenomenal sales, and even the home buyers understood, is home is actually a necessity. Whether you're buying or you're renting. The trends from rented apartments moved drastically towards buying an apartment because people saw that pinch with their landlord or XYZ people who they were renting it from, and they had a sense of urgency getting created all of a sudden that there is no safety for me. Tomorrow if I don't have a home on my head, where will my family go? My village is way too far. I need definitely something where I can be secured. I feel eventually this is the fact which is changing the entire perception. And that is what will help the industry move forward as well.
So right now, in your view, most buyers don't view real estate as a commodity at this point of time?
It is changing, yes, definitely. They do, see, when it comes to negotiation, they'll go to Parth's office also, his office also, and my office also, if you're in the same location.
I agree with him, 100%.
Right? Acha, ye Paradigm is selling at this price. Ajmera is giving at that price. Aapka price bahut zyada lag raha hai. Like, it's fine. It's purely negotiation tactics, but he will buy where exactly he wants to. Whether it is expensive or cheaper, he has already made up his mind. Unless until there is drastic price variation of 1 crore or something like that, which definitely pinches his pocket. Otherwise, I feel they've already made up their mind. It's just to get the best price.
Okay. Sharan, you were saying something.
I completely agree with him because, buyers already know who they want to deal with, what they want, and they've toured everything. They have researched every project in their bracket, and there are very few things, at least in what we operate in, right? And it's the same across micro markets also. But also understanding of things, right? We have to realize that a lot of people who are financing all these projects also, they don't understand who it's for, why the finishes are so expensive, what is the mindset of the thing. Today a guy in Bandra wears a 1 lakh rupee shoe, but he'll argue with you for 5 lakh rupees. Basic things like that. So, it is who the audience is also, right? Today everybody just wants to squeeze on price and play this price war, which is rubbish.
But then, in your view, like Manan said, between commodity and product, are buyers more gearing towards treating real estate as a product?
Today, Vishal, the difference is today people have made money. We are not in the 90s and the 80s where, we used to wait for chocolates to come from abroad. Today we get everything in our country. And Cartier is cheaper here than anywhere abroad, right? It's cheaper to go down and buy a watch or any jewelry item from Cartier than it is anywhere else on the globe. So, times are changing. But, that still fad is there that you people want to, udhar se leke aaye. Okay. So similarly, brands have also evolved over here. There are brands, there are people who've been delivering and working over the years. And I think people want a brand.
Okay. I think Parth,
it's also a status symbol, right? To stay in a certain address or in a certain building. Like if you see, most of the Richie Riches in Bombay are all in 360.
So the status symbol ho gaya, theek hai. But that's like one-off building for the broader market.
There are similar buildings across in micro markets also. There are good complexes where everybody, earlier, if you were well off in Lokhandwala, you used to stay in Lokhandwala complex. Right?
Okay.
There were other builders around, but we never knew it. The whole area was branded as Lokhandwala.
Okay. You are there across all the segments. So you can tell me where, in what segment are you treated more as a commodity and what segment is a product? Or is it the same across the board?
So I'll just put some light on the affordable space first. What I've started realizing more and more, people who are buying between 1 and 1.5 crore rupees, those are the people who just want a house on time and they want a deferred payment plan. Brand is not happening. When I say brand means you're not in the top 10, but you're still relevant in the top 50 maybe. So I think it works. Now, as you go up the hierarchy where a community is 3 and 4 acres, there is a lot of hard work that needs to be put in to make common areas, parkings, efficient layouts, community which has 300-400 apartments. That's when a play comes that they want to go with someone who has demonstrated or who has a capability to demonstrate such layouts. One classic example I'll tell you of, for example, Raymond. Raymond has never done a single building, but his first project was a super hit. Why? The brand had a corporate legacy, brand had a credibility, it was a listed player, fully owned land. People knew that the promoter has a taste which is impeccable, or the brand does ahead of time suiting, shirting and garments. So people felt hamara building bhi wahi level ka acha hoga. So there you can't call, they were not a brand when they did the first Thane project. It was the first foray into real estate. But it was a sold out project. Today it commands premium amongst the other people in the community. So brand got made even without delivering 20 projects. On the other side, you look at any other developer who's maybe done 8, 10, 12, 13 buildings, then he became a brand in the learning curve. Second, I would like to throw a highlight where I see an amazing, with the more HNIs and the ultra HNIs growing here, I feel India has a great scope for branded residences. Brand hota hai ek baat, but branded residences. Like today you compare India to Dubai. Dubai, there is no branded developer. He's a first-time developer, but he's getting a he's getting a Bugatti, he's getting a Mercedes, he's getting a Four Seasons, or he's tying up with anybody, Kawali or whoever. So people, because Dubai has a global audience of purchaser, unlike like Indian demography, it has a global audience across the world. A building which is common wall can command 3 times the price, and a building which is next door may not even sell at 1/3 price. You see the difference. Now, there is not a branded developer, but he's got branded residences which appeal to the global mass. Now, that's the space I feel with India, with growing population. Also, I stay in a Four Seasons house. That's the next level. Adjoining building is 30 crores, 4-bed. Mine is also 30 crores, but I live in Four Seasons residencies. Example, I stay in a Ritz-Carlton apartment. That's the next level of ego boost at HNI level, which I feel places like Bombay, Gurgaon, Delhi are going to see a spurt where what next is going to be the branded residence part.
Future is branded residences. Dhaval, he said a point about, in talking about the brand ki listed hai. You and Manan are in that zone where you both are listed. Does being listed help in brand cultivation?
Well, firstly, anyone who's buying an apartment today, as I said that it's 3-4 categories. One is location, one is the price, amenities, fixtures, etc. That is, once you have a tick in the box over there, then you have a phase 2 is about the brand. And when you are listed, it adds like a a cherry on the top, I would say, because obviously with now RERA being in place, every one of us has to, whether we like it or we don't like it, you have to be as transparent as possible. When you're in a listed space, you're even more transparent than what probably one who's not listed is, because all your information is available on the public domain, and you are forced, or not even forced, but you are bound to give everything to the public at large or to your shareholders and everyone. So definitely listed makes it a much more emphasis on public at large as well, because you have, like, let's say I being a listed entity or someone else being a listed entity will have to tell what am I going to do in the next 1 year's time. Whereas let's say Parthh, who's not listed, he does not have the thing to go and say. He may tell to investors, bankers his storyline, which is fine. But we being a listed entity, it has to be on a public forum that, okay, I'm going to launch 5 new projects, I'm going to do this much of sales, I will at least endeavor to have so much of profit. This is something which is gone on a public domain. Someone else will not go on a public domain to say. But that's the advantage and disadvantage of it.
But the net, do you think being listed has more gains than losses? Manan told me in my podcast once that when he is bidding for projects, to some societies to tell him, we know everything about MICL, so you don't need to spend that much time in due diligence about that builder. Do you think that helps at the entire life cycle, be it in acquisition as well as in terms of sales, the listed ka thing?
So yes, being in, so there are 2 aspects. One, when you are going for a society redevelopment, or you're going to a, let's say a banker, or you're going to a landlord, it becomes easier negotiation, discussion, because he may know your financial capabilities even much more better than probably you know. He may have studied completely everything what you have listed or shown in the public domain. But when it goes to a buyer, the buyer is very, very important. For them, it's like what, as that, what is that last 10 lakhs which I'm getting saved? If Ajmera is offering me a home for 1 crore and let's say someone else is offering a home for 90 lakhs, he may love Ajmera how much ever he want, but probably if everything else ticks in the box in terms of the layout, planning, etc., then he will be inclined to go towards going and buying at that other developer who's offering at 90 lakhs. But now, post-COVID, there has also been a shift that, okay, fine, I know he's offering at 90 lakhs, but I'll still go with Ajmera because A, it's a brand, B, it's a community living, or whatever other pluses what you'll have. So it's now the shift, as Parth said, is moving towards being a brand or a branded residence or a branded apartments or a community living is becoming very, very important now.
Okay, we are in this session where a lot of influencers are there. How do you view the role of influencers in real estate? How important, unimportant are they in your worldview when it comes to real estate as an operation?
See, honestly, I feel influencers are, somebody who is like, okay, so if there is a building, it's the brand of the developer which is being showcased as the project of a, developer which is being showcased. Then part 2 comes is all the advertisement, what you do as a developer in terms of social media advertisement or newspaper, etc. And then is also now a role of, in the new age, is about the roles of the influencers, because you are kind of a face of the company or the or the project which you are branding and marketing. But I will definitely say one thing. A lot of brands, a lot of developers have built their brand, and everyone today who's become a brand is based on trust, is based on the hard work which the person has done, is based on the project, they've gone through the pain, that is why they've become a brand, right? It's just not tom-tomming or showing a great design or a project, but it is about delivery, it is about everything what has helped them make a brand today. I would also feel that is the same thing which, the influencers needs to do. It is just not saying everything good about a brand. You need to definitely, I'm not saying become negative about a project if there are negative points, but the buyer is looking at you as a face of not only the developer, but also face that you are giving an unbiased opinion and you're not giving a biased opinion. So if there are negatives, I would say, don't say it's a great, ye isme ye sab kuch acha hai par ye bura hai, but you need to give them a, in a subtle way, the right information, so that the buyers never feel that, oh, this particular influencer has not given me the right information.
Okay. Parth, in the presentation, Akash of Powertrain said a very interesting line. He said the job of influencers is to influence, not to sell. As someone who's on the other side, do you agree with that assessment of how influencers have to operate?
I think all our friends, influencers who've just come up in a big way last 2 years, they've just scratched the surface. With the diminishing attention span of consumers or prospects, with the instant gratification that everyone needs in only 20-second reel. Now 60 seconds reel has become old story. 20 second mein kya masala deta hai, wo baat karo. That their job is going to be next level bombarded, because A, we are not spending that much on print. We are not, as developers, savvy with television as it's getting redundant. Very few of us put walkthroughs, etc. on YouTube and all, which is still only maybe 20% of our marketing spend. 70-80% if we can showcase a product in that 60-second or 30-second reel and someone who's a third party speaking about it, I think that has enormous level of potential and to influence. Again, mind me, they are the people who are bringing facts to people or creating a kind of a vibe around the product. It does not necessarily convert to sale, but today, any large project, it's only word of mouth. More you're spoken about, more the project has resonation. I saw this about the project, or I saw that. In that social media glimpse of 30 seconds, someone remembers. But you put a print ad on the table, you'll not remember day before yesterday what had come. So I think they have a great upside curve with the growing real estate market here. 2, I feel, yes, what Dhaval said, it's okay. We are not right always. We all screw it up somewhere, in terms of sometimes the product, sometimes the timelines, because we are dependent on external factors. it's the right medium where influencers can put across what is right for the customers without diminishing or targeting the developer in the wrong light. Because end of the day, we are also providers, we are the manufacturers. But how to put across the right story and narrative is very important. Everything cannot just be glossy and just out of the world. It has to be a balance of everything. That's the only recommendation.
Okay. Sharan, you generally have a no holds barred attack on all subjects. What do influencers do
honestly,
wrong?
No, I
in your
think
view?
unfortunately, I've not worked with any. I mean, we've not had the need to be honest. But I think the problem what has happened is every broker has become an influencer now. So they're kind of eating into each other's markets of sorts. So every broker I see is giving almost as good a side tour or a flat tour. So, I think that is breaking it. But it's a great way to see all my competitors' flats. I don't need to visit the site.
But then as a
Or
viewer,
send anybody. I think you just have to open Instagram and see it.
but then as a viewer, not as a developer, as a viewer, when you look at so much activity, like now since because of the nature of work I do, I get bombarded with all the home tours everybody is doing. As a viewer, just when you look at, what do you think influencers do right
It's
or
become
wrong?
a little repetitive now, to be honest. Everything, every main door is great, every lobby is amazing, everything, every bathroom is, with the best tile available. So I think people are also like, stop selling it to me now. Okay, great, you showed it, but at some point, authenticity is, I think, what's going to really stick everybody out. I think the whole influencer game, we all don't know social media marketing, right? It's still something, it's a black hole which we're all exploring and, getting things right and wrong. It's a matter of learning because there's no set formula or anything for success here. So I think that is something, as all developers, I think, will agree with me. We don't know what works and what doesn't work, and there's no metric to kind of really see what works.
Okay. Manan?
So I would firstly take a moment to appreciate them because they are doing the job which my salesperson cannot do in 1.5 hours, and they are trying to achieve that in 30 seconds. So that's something which I would like to appreciate, that convincing any person to do a site visit or to get convinced to buy an apartment in 30 seconds is really tough, because we being on this side of the table, we absolutely understand it. We are doing it daily. Secondly, everyone's got their different ways. I would not say who's right or who's wrong. Like someone's an air hostess. I saw a video for someone was standing up on the crane. Someone was trying to do some animation effects and explain the product better. So everyone's got their different ways of doing it. I would just say be honest, be truthful, and speak facts, because if you've influenced someone in a wrong manner, tomorrow you are responsible for a person's lifetime of savings. So that's what I would like to say.
Okay. So basically just don't show a home, do your own due diligence before you start doing that activity. Okay. Last round of questions. The future of brands in real estate. Look at the crystal ball, tell me 2030. How will the entire landscape of brands in real estate change in the next 5 years?
Real estate has always got certain tough moments, GST, RERA, Notebandi. So a lot of these things have come in. And what's most important is by 2030, in fact, see, this was unfortunately the only industry which was not organized. But now every developer is getting organized, every broker is getting organized, and everyone's under the radar of RERA is one of the examples. There are a lot of other statutory requirements everyone goes through. And we have been listed, so for us, SEBI also comes into the play. By 2030, I feel this industry is going to be a lot more organized, lot more transparent. And if you are not wanting to follow these things, you would be out.
Do you see the rise of many more brands come up? I mean strong brands. Right now when people talk brand, the first few names are like the Lodha, Godrej, Oberoi. Do you see a lot of these tier 2 brands emerge in the next 5 years?
Already, if you see, Vishal, currently the trending brands, lot of brands were never been heard before past 5 years or 10 years. Now they are in the top league. They're selling crores worth of inventories. They've been spoken about. They've been doing good job, doing good deliveries. And like the Bollywood example, right, from Khans to Kapoors, the trend keeps on changing. Same way in real estate industry, either you have to be an extraordinary innovator to be ahead of the curve, and you'll have to continuously innovate something, which is possible also to some extent, but difficult also, because how much would you innovate a home? A home is a home after all. Better tiles, better marbles, good heights, etc., right? Adding more technology, automation, AI. But I feel everyone gets their time. Everybody gets an opportunity. It's just that whether you've been able to pick that opportunity well and perform the best.
Okay, you gave the example of, you refer to the Khans and Kapoors. Give me one name. Who do you think can be the next Khan or Kapoor by 2030? The same question I'll be coming to the three of you all also, but Manan, you can start.
I see a good craze coming in for Karthik Aaryan. He's been very popular, doing very good business, a good businessman, and he's been charging bonkers as well. So, I mean, if you start gaining that wealth, you can start your own production house. And I think all of these Khans and Kapoors have become super rich or gain that stardom by getting into the production. None of these people are just actors. So I feel if you've transitioned yourself that way as a businessman, I think Karthik Aaryan is what my call would be.
Okay, and from the developer side, who do you think? अभी जब लोग बोलते हैं ना SRK, Amir, Salman, they would be like, I don't know, Lodha, Godrej, Oberoi. I'm just giving 3 examples. Who would be within the real estate cycle, the spectrum, who could become the whatever Saif Ali Khan outside of the 3 Khans next 5 years? And it can't be MICL.
You're putting us all on the spot, boss.
I have all 3 very good friends and dignitaries sitting over here. Anyone can be like, and I feel, why Saif Ali Khan? Like, why not Shah Rukh? Like,
So who can be Shah Rukh Khan then?
so I feel there are a lot of Shah Rukh Khans already of our industry who's reached, like Lodha is of course one of the largest names, DLF is there, Oberoi is there, Godrej Property being a conglomerate. But on the real estate side, I feel that they're too mixed into multiple categories. So not a pure developer is what I would say. But I think opportunities open, the market is very big. I don't see one specific name. There are a lot of good players in the market I'm seeing currently, right from all the fellow mates sitting over here. And I feel the market is very big. Mumbai is too big for each player to operate, and everybody has their own speciality, right from like he's doing boutique, I am doing affordable to luxury both. They are into mass housing to, again, premium sector. So I think what should you pick and you be the Shah Rukh of that particular micro market is what I would say.
Okay, Sharan. Who's going to be the... Give me a name.
No, I think it's going to be very different. I think by 2030, if you see, I think if the guys who are going to outshine are the ones who are going to be institutionalized. Because I think organization is kind of already there, right? I mean, all of us are relatively organized. The next step is going to be institutionalization. So who institutions are kind of backing with a lot of capital. That is, I think, going to be the next change by 2030. Those are the guys who are going to be at the forefront of the industry.
Okay, and one name, 2030, outside of the 4 of y'all.
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know?
It's too big an industry. We have, I think, a few thousand developers in Bombay, so, I wouldn't want to say.
Okay. Parth?
Prompting me to give names, so I'm thinking which names to give. But yeah, like what Sharan mentioned is every micro market has its own distinguished person who can do well. I see a lot of people, couple of names in the premium segments of Khar Bandra who are doing good quality work. Like few of my friends, my cousin, Om developers, S. Raheja, they're doing good work. I mean, good guys, a lot of hustle. They have a great potential. They have things going right for themselves. If the delivery continues to do that and they're able to manage their cash flows, I see them as good guys who are doing relevant work in luxury. Similarly, I see a corporate like a Raymond who's been able to manage the entire spectrum very well because they're bringing the corporate side to the real estate. They're not adulterated with the real estate side to the corporate. So I see them making a good footprint across Mumbai or up to 30. Plus, there are a lot of small mid-level developers who have realized that consistency and delivery is the only thing that's going to matter, and they are working towards it. So I don't see a single one of them, but I see about good 8-10 of them creating a big mark till 2030.
Okay.
Yeah.
So about two names you mentioned, but 8 to 10 can break out into the...
Because this is on the luxury side, affordable side also, there are a lot of many guys who are coming, doing relevant work, who are scaling up. So yeah.
Okay, Dhaval, we close it with you. You're the veteran in a way of this entire gang. Based on your insights, what do you see?
So, I will say the brand or the next Shah Rukh Khan or the next Salman Khan will be, as I completely resonate with Parth, that there will be 3 categories. One is a micro market Shah Rukh Khan and a Salman Khan. One will be a legacy developer who is like, doing, let's say, developers like us, Rustam, you've been in this business since 30, 40 years. And one will be a corporate brand. So these are the 3 different buckets, I would say, of developers which will emerge and it will explode like anything in the next 5 years or 20, 30, if I have to put it across. But having said that, but I would not because he's sitting around, but I would say Paradigm is a brand which you will see, because he's aggressive, not just being aggressive, but ensuring that what he promises he delivers, and he's done that in the last 5 years time. So, or 7 years I've seen him, or 10 years I've seen him grow or done. So definitely, if you ask me, he's the next IPO coming in, I'm putting my bets on him.
Okay, paradigm. Okay, well put. Okay, Dhanraj, do we have time for?
But just last one more thing I would say, having said just a name, but I definitely believe that, you know, the India as a market is going to see probably 20 times or 30 times what real estate market is today. And in the next, by 2030, the size of Indian real estate is, at least in my opinion, going to go 20 to 30x than what it is today. And when you have such a big size of real estate market, you will require Shah Rukh Khans of everything. Like as I said, a micro market player, probably a city player or a legacy player, and then you require a corporate player. So these will come, and then there are also times where you'll see international developers coming in India, and with their might of power and money, we will have to tie up and do things. But so it's going to be a huge market.
On that note, we'll close the session. I think everybody has been very candid. I think everybody's paid each other a compliment in some way or the other here. So good to get insights, but yet get critical feedback and compliments.
Great. Thank you so much for this wonderful, insightful session.